Hey folks, Vic here with your weekly trade video for the week ending Friday, October the 23rd of 2020. In the aftermath of the video that I put out last weekend, which showed that we had a really nice trading week last week, a couple of great setups, and it was a nice profitable week. I got an email from a guy, and his question was, well, what do I suggest if, like, say you're struggling, you're trying to follow that methodology, you think you are at least, and you're still, it's not working for you. My initial response is that, have you truly followed all the rules that we do? Have you got a large enough sample set? Like, have you taken enough trades that you can actually make an assessment on it all? Have you set proper stops? Have you put the entry, is the entry correct? Do you move your stop properly the way that we teach it? Do you know where to take profits properly and all that kind of stuff? How about your risk management and your trade management? I mean, they're just critical. I mean, I very often find that that's not the case. I'm not saying it is in this guy's case because he's been around a while, but that is a real common thing that I find. And it's really interesting, because we give the same information to everybody. Nobody gets different, I mean, they all get the same information. Some use it and go on and become stage 4 traders. Others struggle. And for lots of reasons. It could be because they can't take all the trades because of where they live, the time zone. It could be because they don't trade all the different currency pairs that we're trading. It could be because psychological reasons. Maybe they had 2 or 3 losers in a row, and now they figure they're just going to sit out the next one. And of course, it becomes a big winner, and that adds to more psychological issues, right? So that's my initial response to it. The people, the best traders that we have, what they've done is they have become really good at the basics, the chart reading, support resistance levels, the use of multiple time frames for analyzing things. They're good at advanced market flow, all that kind of stuff. And it's just they have characteristics about them that are really good in that. So, and above all, they're all impeccable risk managers, trade managers. Okay, they're really good at that. This fellow who sent this, by the way, has used information that he's gathered either from us or from wherever, and he's actually come up with his own plan that has been working for him. And I think that's great. Listen, we encourage independent thinking. You can use our stuff as a framework for developing your own approach to it, but absolutely, like if it's sound and it makes sense to you and you're using sound principles of all the things I've mentioned, go for it. We definitely encourage that. We trade patterns at higher time frame levels of support resistance. That's what we do. That's what I've been doing in the Coach's Corner since 2006. And Darko's carried that on now for since he's been the lead coach here in that. And the key to it is always use what you see the easiest. Okay, use what makes sense to you, what resonates with you. A year and a half ago, we put out our Advanced Forex Patterns Course, 9 patterns, and they work fine, just fine to this day. They're great patterns. They work just fine. The problem is that there was 9 of them, and people were getting overwhelmed and trying to trade all 9 of them, and so we boil them down to 3 that we teach in the Coach's Corner, in our service in that, and they all work just fine as well. But nothing at all wrong with using the other patterns if that's what you see. Okay, and it was the sort of the stark example of that approach is that when Darko was struggling before he became our lead coach, he got a hold of me and he said, what do you think I should do? And I said, well, what do you see easiest? And he said, well, Vic trades jump out at me, right? So I said, well, trade Vic trades, Darko, for 1 year on 1 currency pair. And he did it on the Australia US dollar for a whole year and had a fantastically profitable year. I saw his account at the end of every month because he wanted to be accountable for his trades. Like he went through sometimes like 2 weeks with no trades. That's tough to do. Most people can't stand waiting like that. So I knew he was becoming a real pro at it. And of course, the rest is history. He joined us and he's been with us. But by the way, just as an aside, we're going to be having a webinar in November commemorating his 3 years with us. And I'll get information out to you shortly on that. But keep an eye out for it and drop in and see him and just come into the webinar and say hi and all that. I think it would mean a lot to him. He's just been such a a big difference for our Coaches Corner service for our members. But the bottom line of all this is don't constantly system jump because a system, you don't think the system's working. Make sure that you're following all the rules. If you start system jumping, you're not going to make it because you're just, you try something out for like a month and you say, this doesn't work. That's not long enough. You have to trade it longer than that and really understand the system. We always tell people up front, it takes time, okay? Just do figure out though, right, what resonates with you, what makes sense to you, and trade that. You'll be miles and miles ahead, okay? Give it a fair chance, follow the rules. And the thing, one more thing I should say is that keep in mind, all systems have losses. If you think you're going to change systems and clear up your this losses and that, it's not going to happen. They all have losses. Just make sure that you have something that has a nice track record of showing high probability of success with the setups that they use. Okay, I think that's it. Except for if you would give us a thumbs up, we sure appreciate that. We'd love that, and it helps us with our YouTube rankings, and which helps us reach more people and all that kind of stuff. And be sure to subscribe to our channel. And when you do, click that little bell so that you'll be notified whenever we put out a new video. Speaking of which, below this video, there is a link to Darko's latest video. He just put it out on Thursday this past week. And it's really a good one. It's all about taking profits. If so many people struggle with taking profits, and Darko's got a nice objective way to do it that I think will really help you if you're having problems in that area. So there you go. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Crazy times right now, isn't it? Anyway, you know what? Email me if you have any questions or something you'd like me to talk about on these videos, and I'd be happy to do that. In the meantime, have a smashing weekend. And we'll see you at the end of next week. Thanks again.